Welcome to I Love Stocks. Get a few more people in here, a few more minutes, and we'll get this thing rolling. By the time this music stops, grab you some water, grab you a ticker. I'll go through over a watch list. Questions, any ticker you want to talk about that you're stuck in, or even one that you like, I'm going to create a little watch list. Call it, what can I call it? We'll call it 627. About ready. And that's it. Let me do one more thing here. Okay, well, I'm Washboard Jim. I traded with Vegas for over 3 years, every day, every trading day we could get, with a few days off. So we're going to talk today's agenda. We're going to try to create a watch list of stocks that we're in, stocks that we like, and something I want to be watching next week. So if we have any kind of questions, just feel free to ask. I'm going to go over a few tickers. I hope everybody can hear me. We got a whopping 10 people in here right now. That's almost good enough for me. I've been trading for over 15 years. I've been a scalper for over I'd say probably 14. And I traded pennies mostly, and then Vegas introduced me to options, and I've been getting into options. I'm really enjoying the options trades too, but I am a beginner at that. But I'm a Chartist artist. Hello, Michelle. I'm a Chartist artist, and I like to do charts. I've charted over 1 million charts in my lifetime, and I'm going to chart another probably 30 today. So if anybody has any questions, just feel free to ask. I'm going to start off with a couple of tickers. I Love Stocks. I'm going to move this little scan out of the way. There's a 7-second delay on YouTube from where I'm talking from, but you won't know the difference. And let's see what kind of chart I want to use today. We'll use my Fibonacci setup chart with my TTM squeeze. We'll take the volume thing off. We'll pull up the year, and I've already kind of started a little watch list with a good buddy of mine. And we're going to take a good look at Cisco right off the bat. Let's see what I've got up here. Well, first let's look at the SPY and the /EX. Yes. So we definitely broke the support level down here right around the 300. Now let me look back a ways. I think a little while back I was counting down in here to get into this little channel. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do pull back to that channel again and create a double bottom on the 20 day. When I did the last video, I talked about this channel right here, and look what happened that next day. We came back and we pulled right back to that solid support level that I had at the bottom of that channel, and that was the zero, and it just perfect. I mean, it landed perfect right in that channel, and then look at that run we had right after that low support level. So that was a perfect call in the last video that I did. Oh, it's been a couple weeks ago, a couple Sundays ago, and then we've kind of created a little channel up in here, and now we've broke down with all the rises in Corona, the case rising in Corona. I thought that the heat would take care of it, but I was dead wrong about that. So we're in kind of a second small phase on the Corona, and that's what I'd be kind of watching for, maybe to pull back with a double bottom in this channel on /ES. I don't know if you see that or not. And there's some pretty good options when you go to try and buy options in this here thing too. So, but that's going to be solid support. And we're going to look at the SPY. Now I do think it can pull back again to a double bottom, and your first kind of support level is going to be this 290.70 area. If it pulls back to that area this next coming week, I'm thinking another week of drama, and then we're going to start looking good again. But I'm not always right either. None of us are. So here we are again on the SPY. We're pulling back to that bottom channel again. We broke the support level that I had here at 302.08 that I talked about at least these 2 days, and then we hit it again, and it just fell on through and broke on down. So we're back down here to this bottom support on the SPY again. And that's up here at 298.86. I want to do one little thing and look at the yearly chart, or let's look at the 6 month. That'll tell us a little bit more. Let's look at the year. We had a pretty strong sell-off, and we've had a kind of a V-shaped recovery. I was looking as a stair-step recovery is when I called this out, and I think I'm more right than the V, because it is a stair-step kind of trend up. And then we did hit a resistance high up here a couple, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then the Corona cases started picking up. People thought that we were over exuberant on the market. The fat cats were all talking about it needs to come down, it needs to come down, and the retail traders are buying the dips. So you have to kind of keep that in mind. Hello, George. Hello, Matt. Do you hope we don't break that 300? That's right. Does that overlay the MACD? I'm not sure. And I can pull up a different kind of chart too if you don't want to see the TTM trend chart. I have so many different tools that I can use when I'm trading, and I'm constantly learning every day, and I think that's something that any trader gets involved in this. You never stop learning, and I want to make that perfectly clear. So we're pulling on back. Let's look at the SPY now. So I have a real low support down here at this kind of channel that we had right here at the SPY at 293.46. If it does, and it breaks this, I think this is the 50-day simple moving average. The two moving averages that I really do like to use on a yearly is the 50-day and the 200-day. That way I'm able to look at golden crosses and death crosses, which we had right here. But actually the market started coming up, so I don't know, kind of strange. So let's go ahead and look at the 20-day again. I'm thinking no lower than this 298.86. I mean, if you're right, if we don't get below 300, we can go ahead and retrace back up into this channel right in here. And we got to break that resistance level of 302.80. So that's the SPY. I'm going to go ahead and, anybody got a ticker they want to talk about right now? And I kind of will talk about a few too. Anything you want to talk about. I mean, what are you looking at? 276. Let me look at that yearly again. We've had, I was looking for a 10% correction from the highs. You got 276. Plug, yes, I loved plug last week. You know that 276 or maybe that 278.67 right in here on the SPY. But I mean, that's a pretty huge drop. I think it's more like this right in here that will start to retrace. We don't want to get back into this channel again because that's going to be nasty. If we get back into this little channel here, that's going to be the nasty part of it. If we can hold this channel right here, we're going to be going back up and try to keep this run going. Okay, let me write some of these tickers down. I don't want to miss anybody. Give me a second here. I really like doing this. It helps me out, keeps me from getting rusty on the weekend. Okay, we're going to, KTOV is going to be the first one. And if you disagree with me or you have a feeling that I might not be right on a support or resistance, I would appreciate it if you tell me that. I might have missed something. Oh gosh, well we got a lot of them in here. You guys are tearing me up. AMD, ORCL I'm looking at. It's on my watch list. I only allow one per person, but we're going to throw in two for this one for LM, BHTG, Zoom, a hot tomato. Okay. We're going to start off with KTOV. And then I'm going to have me a drink of my coffee. Jamaican Blue Mountain. You can see I've been watching KTOV pretty much. I have my 2018 trend lines on, 19 trend lines on here, plus my this year's trend lines. So what I'm going to do is unfog this right now, and we're going to redraw it. I'll always like, when I'm doing these and pointing these out, I always like to look at the yearly chart first. I do have my Fibonacci set up automatically on the yearly, so I want to try to look for a pivot point on this chart where I think an equilibrium that could be for a solid support. And see, we've tried to break this 200 a couple of times in the yearly, and then I'm going to pull up my EMAs too. I got this set up also, I think, on another one. Let me get my other one up here so I'll know where I am. I got two different moving averages that I like to use on different time frames. We'll clear this up real fast. Sorry, I wasn't prepared for that yet. And then we'll go ahead and make this red. There it is, KTOV. Okay, so we're going to try to find a pivot point in here, and I think it's right about in here. We had this little high here, and then we broke out of resistance. We've had periods of consolidation. We had a period of consolidation right here. This is kind of a resistance level, and I'm going to go ahead and chalk it in right about here at 82 cents for a support level. Now I try to draw trend lines for the pullback, and I'm calling this resistance level right here the low support. It doesn't want to fail 82 KTOV. Then I'm going to draw me another trend line off this right here, off this candlestick at 87. I'm going to draw another one right here off this 90 that you see on the end. Then we have a huge gap in between that, and then you got the 107. And I use the base of the candles, if you're curious, to look for resistance levels. Now once I've found that, I'm going to go to my 20-day, and we'll change this to the 20-day. I can fill in these other gaps in here where that big gap was now, and you see how we're lining up with this candle right here and this one right here. So that's going to be a solid support right there at 98 cents. I pretty much got this charted up. We got a double bottom down here at 79 for a strong buy on the 20-day, 200-day EMA. I'm using my EMAs now. I have the 200. I have the one. What is it, the 100? I think this is the 100. Yeah, I have the 200, the 100, the 34, and the 9. So that's the 100, that's the 34, and that's the 9. And they're all showing respect to each other. We did try to touch down to that 34 right here, and look at that big bounce we had off of it. So we got a strong resistance at 130. That's what needs to break. I'm thinking support level is going to be right down here at 98 cents. So chalk that down on paper. 98 for maybe a reversal play back up into this channel. If not, it'll fail and pull back into these lower supports, and that'll be a real strong buy if it's still bullish. It looks to me like it's very bullish. You still have the trend line coming up here. Let me show you. This makes a lot of sense. You draw that trend line and you just keep drawing it up here. So, you know, you could have a support off that trend line there at 105, somewhere in this area. So let's say between 98 and 107 is going to be the support channel that you want to be hoping that we stay in for the pullback on Monday, if it pulls back there. But it needs to hold this trend right here, and that'll keep going up and break resistance at 130. And that's KTOV. The next one we're going to talk, are you satisfied with that one? Space. I'll write it down. Now, if I miss anybody, and you wrote spot, and you wrote a ticker down on here, it's not that I forgot about you, it's just I didn't see it. And I'm only here by myself right now. Kern, yeah, someone mentioned to me Kern the other day. And what do we got here? NVDA. Might have to make these a little shorter. This is going to last about 2 hours. So we started at 1, we're in 19 minutes. So I'm going to try to speed up my analysis. NVIDIA is next. So whoever had NVIDIA, NVDA. Let's pull up the early chart. Up. Boy, what a run on this one. Nice, nice, nice. Look at here. You see where we had this little top right here at resistance level? That's going to be a solid support. That's telling me that that needs to hold and move on up, or we'll pull back into the bottom of the channel right here at 348.49. The resistance to break is going to be right around this 380. So I've more or less already charted this up, but I'm going to go to the 20-day. I'd like to see it stay in this channel right here. Anything below that's going to be a little bit worrisome, or maybe even a strong buy if we get down here to 337. I don't see that happening. I see it holding a trend all the way up. You see that trend that I'm talking about? Let's go ahead and draw that trend line in here. We can't go from down here, so we'll start it right about in here. And we'll just kind of move it on up to right about there. So it points to that channel of support right in here between 348.49 and 366.47. I want to try to draw me a little equilibrium in there, and that's going to be right here in these this part of the candle station right here. Get down just a little bit. Bam! Oh, got the wrong one up. And I use Ameritrade Toss. I also have U-Stock Trade, and I trade options in Tastyworks. So let's pull up the 20-day. This is NVDA. See how everything just kind of lines up? We've got a little place in here we're going to try to find an equilibrium on, and that's 360.77. Then we're going to try to find some resistance levels to break. And I'm liking this 370. Right there and right about there. So let me look at this for a second. This channel here, I want it to stay in this channel. I want it to stay in this channel right here between 360.77 and 366.47. If we can stay in this channel and it pulls back to this low 360.70, I think you can take it back up to this 366, and that's going to be like a hard resistance. Or we're going to come in here next week and it's going to go ahead and break on up and break that 200 on the 20-day. So that's going to be NVDA. I'm bullish on it. Let me look at the news. The auto industry, you got to remember the market sentiment is not bullish right now. The market sentiment's not bullish right now, but the price targets, I really love these price targets. 404, 450. So we're getting ready to reverse. If we hit this trend line, that's going to be a very strong buy. 100% strong buy. Jack, yes, we were watching Jack too. Jack. We've got the Jack. Okay, NVDA done. Let's look at aim, set, fire. AIM. Yes. I always like to look at the news. ZARS. So this is going to do with Coronis. Fatigue therapy with Coronis. FDA clearance. What's this? AIM. Oh, it's got some good news. You know, we got some momentum behind this trade. So let's go ahead and look at the yearly. You can tell I've been watching this one too. We closed the day with a doji, little upper doji, a little bullish sentiment right there. Drop trend line right here for support level. Okay, AIM, one right down here. Let me look at the 20-day now, and the 20-day is going to tell me everything I need to know. See, we tried to break resistance. This 277. We tried to do it. We hit it a couple times up here on the bases of the candle. And then we've had like a little pullback into closing. And look, I mean, Thursday and Friday was a sucky day. And look, the stock went up. We're probably setting up to break this resistance at 277. If we can break that resistance at 277, 295, and then we're going to see 310. That, or it's going to pull back to this lower channel right here at 241 and bounce back up to that. So yeah, it looks bullish to me. We've had a pretty good little sell-off here, and then we had this rebound right here. So depends on the momentum. We could get back up to 295. That's AIM. I do like the stock, and it's one to keep an eye on. I love the cloud stocks. The cloud is the most important thing right now with all the cocooning and all the tech stocks. So, I mean, cloud all the way. And I've been watching cloud for over 10 years. EKSO, okay, that's another good one. We had so many good plays last night. Even on a horrible week, the runners were looking good. AIM, Plug, Jack, EKSO, got that FDA approval. So the next one we're going to talk about is going to be Plug, another great runner. And we're going to plug it in. Okay. Beautiful run. Beautiful trend all the way up. There is some I'm trying to say volatility. I want to do one thing here. I'll get rid of the zoom. See, I use zoom too. There's Ric Flair, if you're all familiar with him. FinViz is what I was looking for. I want to check the float on Plug. I always look here to find a float. We got a 300 million float, so that don't mean crap to me. It has to be a momentum play. I'm thinking support here at 640 if it doesn't hold this area right here at 675. Now, if we break this resistance level right here just a little bit below $7 or at 7, we can take it to the next three levels up, and that's 713, 728, 745. But your solid support's going to be right down here at 638. So if it does dip down there, that's going to be a strong buy. I would love to see that hold support there, or we could get down here to 591. And you know, when we follow these trends up, and I think this is very important to point out, and I do it a lot, you know, you draw this trend line from the bottom of them bases and candles. You kind of get an equilibrium. I'm thinking right about in here. Then I'm going to extend that on out. Extend to the right. That's on. So this, this would, if it does pull back to this channel right in here, that's going to be a very strong buy to hold support on this trend line. So that's the worst case scenario. Their first low support's down here at 641. Then you got another one right in here, 662. I'm bullish on plug. Don't take me wrong. But I think it's going to be a little choppy. And if we can hold this channel right here at 640, we're going to be fine. Because that huge gap down in here. So low support 640. That first one right around 675. Then the resistance to break is going to be that $7 area up to the next three resistances. Feel free to stop these videos at any time or even copy and paste any of these charts while I'm talking about them, and you can use them as a second reference to your own personal reference. So that is plug. Let's talk about AMD. One of my probably best choices that Vegas and we followed this all the way under from $10. And we were very bullish on it. And we've had a huge pullback on this. Now this is probably the escalation with the China trade wars might have something to do with this. I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. I had a real solid support that I did not want to break on this at 51.67. I'm seeing a declining pattern. We could be ready for a reversal real soon. So let's go ahead and erase this all this junk off of here and start fresh. And we're going to pull up the yearly chart on AMD. I'm going to go down here and draw that trend line that I talk about a lot. That's from right down here. No, I can't see it going down to this area. Not at all. So I'm going to draw a sideways trend line. See, it's kind of choppy. This is the sell-off we had during the crash. Then we had a double top, we had a triple top, and the triple top failed, and we've had a pullback. So that support right here at 49.89. I got another one right down here. It's kind of hard. There it is, right there. 48.13. I'm counting this here little area right in here and this little top that we had right in here. And then we have a resistance level that we need to get up to, and that's going to be right here at 50.97. And then we're going to move her on up just a little bit more. I would say I'm probably one of the best extended trend line traders out there. One of the best. I don't want to boast, but it's a fact. And I tried to look for places of consolidation. Bam, right there. Okay. So AMD, we got to hold this support right here at 49.78. That's very important. Keep that in mind at 49.78 support level. We're going to go ahead and chalk that in there. I think it might be ready. We had them bad days last week, and maybe this new fresh week will start rebounding some of these trades. But if we hold this 49.78, we're going to be fine. So let's go ahead and go to the 20-day now. Yeah, the 20-day, I got to go back to that yearly. 6 months here. Got to try to find another spot in here that is a little equal. There it is, 51 something. Right there, okay. Now we'll go back to the 20-day or the 3 month. Okay, this is what I'm looking at. We got to hold this 49.78. If not, we'll pull back to this lower support level of 48.18 or 48.13. the resistance that we got to break. And we'll go to the 20-day on that one. This is the resistance we got to break, 50.86. If we break past that, we'll bring it back up here and start looking good again at 52.17. And that's where you're going to start bouncing up into this other channel again. But this is oversold, definitely, from 55 all the way down here. That's a $6 dip, and AMD won't trade like that. There will definitely be a recap up to this 52.17 next week, and that's going to be AMD. The next one we're going to talk about is going to be Oracle, ORCL. I think I have it on my watch list. No, I don't. Yeah, I do. So I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Now, after I talk this ticker, I'm going to take a little second. I'm going to ask anybody if you're having a good weekend. So let's go ahead and go to the yearly. Definitely found a channel down here at 51.58. Got another spot right here. And I'm going to draw this trend line right here for a resistance support level right there. We got a resistance to break right here, and maybe another one right here. So let's pull up the 20-day. We did have a death cross. It did sell off. Death cross is right here. When that 50 crosses down below that 200 SMA, that is what they call a death cross. And look what happened. You probably wouldn't have made it to it, but when you started seeing this bad day here, that would have been a good indicator to maybe get out of your trade, especially on a way up if you could get up higher than that candle. But that's a death cross, and we're going to go ahead and pull up the 20-day now. Had a double bottom down here. I've got another support level right here. The base of this candle and the formation of the consolidated support level right here. So let's see if we can hold this channel right here. This is very important. This little channel right in here. Bam. And bam. So if we can hold that channel, we're going to be fine. That rise up to 200. That, if we don't, we're going to pull back to this lower level of 53.24 and maybe this 52.79 for a solid support. I'd like to see keep the trend up though, and we're going to draw that trend line. Talk about a lot. I like to read chart patterns too. I'm very good at reading chart patterns. So if I see a chart pattern that I like, I'm going to point it out. Right now I don't see nothing. I think I see maybe a retracement bounce up to here. But we got to hold this channel right here between 53.75 and 53.89. Okay, well, I think the ones that I've got, July 2nd, $56. You got 55. Let me write that down. 55 at and $60 calls. 717. Appreciate that. Okay. We want to see it hold that 200 on the if it does pull back and break below that support, we want to keep it in this channel, and that could be the buy-in area for this trade. And then run it back up to here, maybe around 55. And then we're going to have a resistance to break at 55. Thank you, JC2. The next one we're going to talk about, where'd it go? Got Oracle done. Now BHTO, I've never heard of. Nile. Damn, I won't be here for overtime. You guys are helpful today. Okay, B. I bet you this is a penny stock, but I'm not sure. We're going to pull it up. Well, I guess I got the wrong ticker number. Let me scroll up here. Oh, BHTG. Anybody in a hurry? You want to get out of here? I'll do your ticker right now. If you have somewhere you got to go. BH, yeah, dang man. Yeah, I was right. It's penny stock. Let's see what this company does. Let's Bank. That's right. Space, I'll look at Space too. I got Space. Space will be here in 2 more tickers after Zoom. Okay, we got a resistance that we broke Friday, as you can see right here at 174. Oh, wrong one. Right there at 174. Found a nice little support channel on the 20-day. Conduct technology against bacteria. SARS-2. Here we go again. Working on Coronas. Yeah, 8K file. They filed an 8K filing. That's good news. Product demonstrates high level of technology used against bacteria and viruses such as Coronas 2 and SARS. Okay, I got my news information. Pull up the yearly chart. I know at least what we pulled out of a channel here. Got support right here at 138. Kind of a little choppy, but look, you know, it's a nice little trend up. Had a double bottom here and broke out to resistance. Failed, had the crash. And then here we had that little bounce up. So let's pull up the 20-day. I'll draw one more trend line on BHTG. This is one I'm probably going to have to watch Monday just to see how the volume is. I don't like the volume bars down here. That's one thing that I'm deterrent on right now. So I think I would have to probably play it off the 200 on the 20-day. That support levels right now is at 145. This moving average is simple. It's easy to get along with. A lot of day traders don't use it. So let me go to my other chart and we'll look at the 20-day on it. It's at 45. This is at 145. So yeah, they're running right together. If we hold the 9, we're going to go ahead and break resistance here at 180. We'll get to 180. And then you have another resistance right here at 194. So let's kind of chalk this up. We got a low strong buy if it knifes down here at 116. You know, you never know how the market's going to be. You never know if they're going to come out with an offering. You just don't know. I'm going to draw one more trend line right here. Bam, 151. So that to me is the solid support that we need to hold. It's going to be this 150, 153. Break of resistance is going to be right here at this 179 area. And BHTG, keep it on watch. And the next one we're going to talk about is going to be Zoom. CRM. Golly. Let's do Zoom. Yeah, you know, I got sidetracked with Zoom. I really liked Zoom. I called it out perfectly when we had started having the huge breakout. And it was right around this area right in here. called it perfectly, and it ran exactly where I wanted it to go, up to about here, and then we had the little sell-off, and I think it was, I can't remember if it was back before this run right here. I was back in here, I think. No, it was definitely back in here. This was when all that negative news about China and Zoom saying they were having some kind of issues and stuff, and I thought we were going to pull back to this $80 level again. Instead, it was bullish. It ran up and hit this resistance level up here, and I was just shocked. I mean, it really threw me off. I let the news get ahead of the crisis. And the crisis, this is definitely one of the best Corona plays out there this year. One of the best. So, I mean, suckers ran all the way up here to 256, breaking resistance day by day by day. So we did have an ascending triangle right here, and that's at 243. 70, fine tune this right here. Right about 243.50. Oops. I hate it when I do that. Right there, 233.45, and then you got another support level right here. You'll have a resistance to break at 259. Now this is the kind of stock, if it does start to pull back, you want to be watching the pullback and the trend on it. And I'm going to show you a little trick in the room, I mean in here, that I like to use when I'm using for a pullback support level. So if y'all have a pencil and paper, be sure to write this down. We're going to go to the daily one. Let's go to the 20-day first. See if I missed anything on here. Kind of missed a little place right in here. I'm going to write that trend line in there, and we got another one right here. So on the 20-day, no lower than 240. That's going to be your solid, strong buy right in this area, in this channel right in here. This is an ascending triangle. If you're not familiar with ascending triangles, I'll draw it out for you. And you can tell the breakout that it had. That's what you call ascending triangle. And then you see what happened after the 5-day extension. Beautiful setup. Bam. So yeah, it kept pulling back into this channel. And then when you started seeing this rise and then holding that trend line from here to here to here, and it kept pulling on that trend line, you should know that this thing is going to break this resistance, this horizontal line, because of the momentum and the time we're in right now. This economy is going to change, and if you're able to work from home and you know computers very well, you're going to make a ton of money in the next 10 years. So Zoom. Solid support right down here at the ascending triangle at 243.45. Third support right here at 246. Let me get this. Dang it. 246.94. 248.99. 249. And then that first support, it's going to be right here at 250.95. I don't want to see it go no lower than that, with a resistance to break at 254.40, and this thing can keep going on up. You know, let's take it in dollar increments on the way up. I'll check Zest. I need a little zest right now. It reminds me of a time I went into Walmart and I asked this guy, I said he was working there, or an old man sitting there by the counter, and I was doing inventory at the time. I used to inventory Walmarts. And he comes up to me and he says, son, could you tell me where the Zest is? Bar of soap? And I said, yeah, it's right here. And he looked at that bar of soap. He said, 67 cents? Jesus, I remember paying 45 for that. I just laughed all day about that. I still have that memory in my head. He's just a real old, crumped up old man. So, yeah. We've got another ascending triangle right here. See this? You identify that? Look at that. There's another one right here. We could be setting up for another ascending triangle breakout this week. So I'm bullish on Zoom 100%. I hope that helps you out. The next one we're going to talk about is going to be, let's go to outer space. Space finally broke out, I think, last week a little bit. Had to pull back. No, I was wrong. It did have the breakout on Thursday. So let's look at the yearly chart. We had called this out beautifully when it had the huge run down here at 690. I've got witnesses that can prove that. And people thought I was kind of crazy. And then bam, a guy named Longhorn was on this in our room. He's a real good trader to watch. I have a few good traders in our room. I really look up to Bass Cat. I look up to Vegas. I look up to a lot of people that are in the room. And it just seems like we're gelling real well together. So I just want to say thank you to everybody out there in the room that participates and helps out on a daily basis. We're going to draw a resistance line right here. And we got a lot of good lady traders in the room too. Our focus is to bring more lady traders into the forum. Let's go ahead and go to the 20-day. We got a descending pattern. Is the only negative thing I see about it right now. You see what I mean by descending? I'll point that out. But we are squeezing. This is a descending pattern, not ascending, but descending. And I'd almost say that low is going to be right down here at 15 bucks. Yeah, I'm going to put that trend line right here at 15. That's going to be a strong buy if we get down to 15 for that bounce back up in here. And I don't think we can break down to this lower level. Right around in there. And we have another support right here. But I want to see this $15 hold Monday morning on the pullback, rebounce up, and have a nice retracement back up. Oh, I'd say $1.50. Your first resistance will be right here at $16. Descending pattern, starting to squeeze. If we pull back to the 15, sometime Monday or Tuesday, we'll have a retracement back up to 16 to maybe 16.50, and that's going to be space. And then the resistance to break is going to be up and around this area. If we break this resistance at 16, you can bring it up here to 16, around 17 bucks. You see where I look for places of consolidation. We had that double top right here, it failed. We had this little place right in here, it failed. So that's going to be a hard resistance at 17. We're going to turn that into a red line. And I want to just give me 1 second here, and I'll be right with you. So we've got this low support at 15, resistance break at 16, and maybe take it to 16.50. And then we're going to have a fist fight up here at $17. And if we can break that fist fight, we're going to bring it up to 2 different levels and a strong resistance at $17.74. Put in your self ticket right there. If it has the momentum to carry on up and break that resistance at $16.50. The next one we're going to talk about is Kern. Steve Kern, a basketball player. K-E-R-N. I hope that answers your question about space. Workhorse. What a run-on workhorse. I got to write this down. Jim, can you check out Zest? I did. WKHS. Okay, let me see what time it is. Well, I'm not doing too bad. Got 52 minutes in the game. I got another hour to play if you all stick around and have more tickers I want to talk about. But let's look at Kern. I want to first look at two things. I know I like to look at the float. Float kind of says 7 million on FinViz, so I like that. I like a low float trade. We're going to pull up the chart. These are all 2019 trend lines. I'm going to go ahead and use them. They look pretty accurate to me. You've got a resistance level right here. I'm going to start adding the 2020 trend lines to it. See where we had these consolidated periods right here? See that? So that's going to be a trend line. We're going to find another one right here. See this little channel? It's a descending pattern. But look, I'm going to look at something. I want to teach myself something. We had a descending pattern here, so I want to know what happened between here. Whoops. Between this day right here. I just want to see what happened. So I'm going to pull up a 3-month. That was on 6/1. Okay, so yeah, it was still bullish. It was on the way up. On the way up, a lot of times when I see a descending pattern come the way down, it usually fails. But this is more or less a descending pattern after a double top, and it pulled back, and it fell right back into this resistance line. It would have been nice if it held here at the 994. Now look, I'm going to draw that over here to these. See what we did right here? We had that little resistance level. History repeats itself. Always remember in stocks, history repeats itself. Take your profit if you're up big. Don't keep hoping, especially in this market. It's not a good market to be holding. And you can scalp, you can swing, but when you start seeing some good profits, you need to really evaluate your resistance levels. So let's go ahead and pull this back to the 20 now, and I'll go ahead and give you a thumbs up on Kern. Low support, no lower than $8. You got another support level right here at 850, and look here, see that right there, and that candle right there. So that's going to be your first support level at 850. Your second one can kind of be in between in here. I'm going to put another one right there. So I like to see this number hold 850 and bounce back up and try to clear this 898. That's going to be Kern. Bullish on Kern. I just got to watch the volume. We had a big sell-off right into close. It could be a dead cat bounce back up to this resistance level of 944. And if that fails right here at 850, we can pull back to support here at $8. The next one we're going to talk about is going to be, I already talked about NVDA. I got the Jack. JAKK. Love the 20-day chart on this in a way. We did have a nice little breakout, and a few of them. Let's look at the news and let's look at the float. Resume trading. Jack was halted a few times. Narrows first quarter loss is good news. I always like to hear that, especially in bad times. The second quarter is not going to be as good as the first quarter, so we got to keep that in mind. Jack announced first quarter call earnings. Here we go. Face risks related to health. Jack 8K shows to add a 10K operations results. Oh. Spiked 60 cents level, 107. So we're way above that. Okay, well, I got the news. I got the Jack. Support level is going to be this low support down here at 73 for a strong buy. Consolidated period right in here. We've had that big breakout. Consolidated period right, well, the descending pattern right here, the downward wedge is what I would call this, and we had the huge breakout. And when you go from 70 to 155, when you get a 100% trade on a penny stock, take that profit. You'll always have a second chance to take the trade. Always. So we're descending right now. I think we can hold this support level here at 82 cents. If not, 73 is going to be a strong buy. And the resistance to break is going to be this red line at 103. And we can bring it up to these new resistance levels of maybe a double top at 117. If we can hit that double top at 117, we'll bring it back up here. But strong buy down at 73 cents. And that's going to be Jack. I like Jack. EKSO, another great trade last week. I mean, look at all these great trades last week. You can play these dips if you just have patience. And I'm going to show you something. I'm going to see if this works on the daily 1 minute. No, I ain't found one yet. But let me see here. Hold on a second. If I go to 5-day, change the time frame to 1 minute. I still want to show you this trick. Maybe I can find it here. Nope. Can't find it here either. But that is definitely a descending pattern that could be ready to break out back up here to the 103. We break out 103, we can bring it back to 114, 117. And that's going to be, and I like to eat Jack. What am I doing? Okay. I think I just had a flash. Oh my. You ever just seem like you're real stupid sometimes? That felt like that. I felt like I just caught a big old bass and had him in my net, and he jumped out of my net after I was saying, man, I love this. I've been waiting for you all day, Larry. So let's start this over again. EKSO. Dow Jones, yeah, I'll chart the Dow. Okay, let's start fresh again. We have a drink of water. EKSO. 2 o'clock. Whew. It definitely had the huge breakout. It had great news. It had FDA approval for brain, people with brain injuries. So I really have liked EKSO, same as Workhorse. And there was another one out there too that I liked that was in this sector. So what I'm going to do is, this is kind of foggy. I'm just going to erase all these trend lines and we're going to start fresh. I'm 100% bullish on this trade, but what we got to do is we got to try to find a place where I think it's going to rebounce and retrace back up. And I'm only going to play it off the 20-day. So we got a 563 support. We've got a 670 support. We got a 727 support. We got an 816 support. Then we got these resistances that we need to break. I'm just going on up. Just trying to find the places where I think the candles have consolidated. Solid support right here at 816. You see where we had this breakout up here and it pulled back? So that's going to be your solid support. And I'd like it so much to be the first one. I'm going to put it in a red line. I'd like to see that hold because of this high we had here. If not, we'll take it down to the third support at 670 and bounce back up to this $8 level. But third support, 670. Well, let me see here. I think we might just got a little ahead of ourselves. Low support 670. The third support channel is going to be between 729 and 759. And that first support channel, the second support channel is going to be right in here between 759 and 786. Then a solid first support at 816. If we can hold to 816 Monday morning, it starts to move up, I would be scalping this trade from here on out. Your resistance level is going to be very hard at 1062. So yeah, it could be a good scalper trade back up to that 1062 level. And that's going to be EKSO. I'm 100% bullish on it. GUSH. I remember looking at GUSH last week too. Exactly, JC. You sound like you know what you're talking about. Simpler Finance. I think I know you from somewhere. There's another good trader right here you want to pay attention to, is that JC. He really has, you can really have fun with him. So yeah, like he says, Monday's going to be a test day. Wait for the red days. Don't start being bullish yet. There's still negative sentiment in the market. But I like to play the pullbacks, and that's how, if you've noticed how I've been talking, I've been looking for supports first and then trying to find the resistance to break second. So we've had a bad week. We've had a couple bad weeks. I think we're ready to maybe start consolidating into an area where we can start retracing back up. But if the cases start to increase, the market sentiment will still turn down a little bit. I'm looking for a 10% correction from the high. I'm not sure if we had it yet or not. So that's EKSO. Let's look at NIO. And I'm going to talk about Tesla along with NIO, and there's another one too. And that was, I've got to think about it. We'll talk about NIO. Niles a great call. When we were down there below $2, this thing done nothing but run up. And everybody knows what NIO is. It's a China-based electric car company. Let's see if they had any good news here. Goldman Sachs downgrades NIO to neutral from buy on the 24. Price target 7 from 650. You know. Benzinga upgrades, downgrades, Fire Street, $7 target. So everybody's happy with that $7. So far it's respecting that 200 on the way up. Let me look at the yearly here one more time. Just a beautiful run on this. Yeah, we're holding a whole different area. It's kind of hard to find support level. On this trade here, I would say any good pullback, unless it's real bad news, look for a retracement back up. Here in the last couple weeks, I've been very patient with my trades and waiting for the pullbacks and waiting for the sentiment to be right and to look for the retracements back up. And last week was a hard week to do that. But I didn't do too bad. Right there, okay. Let's pull up the 20-day now. Solid support right here at 665. If we can hold that 665, we can move back up into this channel of 665 to 745. It's very important we try to stay in this channel right here. You see what I'm saying? Very important. That's where we've been for the last 2 weeks. If we fail this channel and not bring it back up to resistance level of 745, we can pull back into this channel right here of 588 to 664. But for right now, I want to see it hold this support at 665 and stay in this channel and just bounce back in between here, between 665 and 745. That's a dollar, dollar spread. So that's not too bad. As long as it respects this 200 EMA on the way up. If it doesn't respect the 200 EMA on a daily, oh, I'd say probably an hour chart, we could go back lower to this other channel. But for right now, we're at a pretty solid resistance level, and we need probably another week or two of consolidation in this channel, or we'll break up and start a new one, or we'll pull back into this one and have a bounce off the 589 area back into here, and to break the resistance levels at 665. That's going to be Nile. I like Nile. Now, didn't they have an offering again? They got the $8 call sweeps on it. Yeah, they had a price offering. They announced a price offering on the 11th. American depository shares of over 72 million. So that kind of sucks. And here announces completion of offering American depository shares on the 15th. So they completed it. So that's good. That's out of the way. It probably does want more. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about, CRM. I'm glad everybody came in here and enjoyed this little fun affair that we're having today. It's just kind of a prep for next week. Anybody that's in a stock that they're worried about or you're having real difficult, don't be shy. We all have been there. Sometimes we make the mistake and sell too early and it retraces and bounces up. There's always, and I'm going to go through that here in a second about fear. I like to really talk about that. Stick with your trade plan. They're not always 100%, but you'd be surprised if you put enough due diligence in your ideas and your homework that you could be fairly successful. Don't rush. Be patient. You got to know what be in the now. You got to know what's going on in the market. Last couple of weeks, I know that the fat cats are saying we're over exuberant and that the retail traders are taking over and all this crap. But all in all, right now, the fat cats, they're the ones in control. They just sometimes just are playing off our reactions. But one day, retail traders are going to be number one. They're going to be outnumbered. The fat cats to the retail traders, they're going to be outnumbered. They're already outnumbered right now. But as we start making more money, we'll be taking some of that money out of their pockets. That's CRM. Okay. Solid support right here at 182.13. I don't want to, and we did touch that 200 on the 20-day. I want to look at the yearly just for a second. I want to look at the news too. Salesforce reportedly used in 35 states. Trader bets $1 million on the software. Wow, somebody put out some big money on it Friday. Salesforce option trader bets 1.5 million software. Let's see if they give us our. Well, aren't you going to tell us where the frickin' buy is? There we go. 18 the price at 135. Salesforce option with, okay. Trader with 1,013 all calls options of 190 strike price expiring September 18th at 11:35. So somebody went in big on this trade, hoping by September, by close to election, that we'll know who's going to be winning or not. So I'm going to take this off. Solid support right down here at 182.13. I don't want to see it go no lower than that. If it does, we're going to see 180 or 179.35 with the resistance to break right here on this trend. See where we've touched down? So that resistance at 184.72, back up maybe to this high area of 188.34. I want to keep it in this channel. Let's see, we build new channels. And we just went below that channel here on Friday, and Friday wasn't a good day. So people are probably taking out, getting out over the weekend. And they're going to bring it back up here to 184.72. If we don't see that buy open, I think we will. And we'll bring it back to 188.34. And that's CRM, Salesforce. I like it. So does Jim Cramer. You missed spot. I didn't have it on here. I'll put spot in next. I didn't write spot on here. Thank you. Like I said, remind me if I missed something. Oh gosh. Another cocooning play. You know why I'm not going to the year chart on this? Anybody tell me? Because we're at all-time highs. See how them trend lines just all fell in place that I did on that yearly? You can't do it any better than that. Okay, I'm going to try to find, like I said, solid support here at 255.70 needs to hold. Your first one's going to be right here at 260.78, and I'm going to adjust. I want to adjust this channel up a little bit to right here for the strong buy entry. And there's a reason why, and I'll pull that up here in a second. We had this little top here, then we had this little consolidated area right here, then it happened again right here. So if we can do like a, I'd say just a little molehill here and get back down to this 257.61, that'll be a real strong buy. Or on spot, if we go ahead and keep up the momentum, and we'll have to break this resistance level right up here at the top of this candle right here. I'm going to magnify that up. That's going to be our resistance level to break. Every chart's different, but a lot of charts show the same kind of trends. And then I'll put one more right here. I hate it when I do that. I'm just trying to find where I think, oh, beautiful. Right there. Yeah, I like that. Come on, Larry. Don't get away from me, Larry. Okay. About got her done. I need to get this right here. Bam. You see where we had this little consolidated area right in here. Okay. If it does dip down to here, this is going to be a very strong buy. I don't see that happening. I see it, if it does dip, it holding this support at 260.78 and bouncing back up to this resistance level of 264. Now, if we hold the 264, we can break back up into this new resistance channel up here from 267.48 to 270.12. And then the hard resistance to break is going to be this 271. So we've got the low support channel down here for a very filthy strong buy. I don't want to see it go no lower than 260 spot with the third solid support. Second one at 262, 264 is the first one. The resistance to break is going to be this 266, and then try to get it up into this channel. And this is where you want to maybe consider to start taking profit. We've got a pivot point area in this channel right now at 268.92. Turn that black. 268.92 with a resistance to break at 270. Any time if it does pull back, these are going to be new resistance levels. And if it does break resistance here at 266.16, these are going to be your next three resistance levels to the top of this channel, and that's where you want to probably take profit. But you see right here, very important that we break that resistance level at 267.48. Wow, they keep coming in. I have work on my watch list. So we got spot done. I'm going to do, I did Zest because I talked about the soap. And Workhorse is next. And hey Cody, will you make me a cup of coffee? Use the good stuff. Okay, the next one we're going to talk about is going to be Workhorse. Workhorse and EKSO. Those are in the same sector. I want to look at Workhorse, and then I want to talk about the Dow and GUSH. And work. It's on our watch list. LLNW, and talked about space already, but I might go back just a little over it again because I think we're ready. I think space is an easy play to take care of, so I'll recap space. LLN, okay, AAL. I'll do space at the very end because you showed up late. There's a crooked side to a washboard, Jim. You're welcome for spot. Yeah, lucky coffee's just not lucky anymore. Got very unlucky. Centron got that one right. They bashed Dino last week and it ran $5. Let's talk about the Dow. Well, Workhorse. Okay. Workhorse, another great one. Yearly chart. Got to think. 2019 trend lines, 2020 trend lines. We're going to erase them all and get rid of all of them because this is just too mind-boggling for me to do anything on. I mean, look at this.
Here you
go. Look at that run. Thank you. I owe you $500. So let's draw some trend lines. Beautiful last week. We had, looks like 3 white soldiers right here on a daily. Kind of, I would love to have seen this come up above here and maybe bounce above that. So this candle here is kind of telling me that it's a 50-50 chance that we're going to see a pullback because it's a rolling pin candle. But we did close at the high of that candle, which could tell me that we could elevate up to this $11 if we break this 1030. But for right now, we're going to find a support level at 719. Strong support here at 851. Another one right here at 907. Another one at 940. And then the last one right here at 991. Make sure I didn't miss anything. And then that 9 EMA right here at $7. So we're going to go to the 20. Did have a knife right here, so we can't leave this out. This is an indicator right here that we could have the same thing again. This could repeat. I've said it over and over. History repeats itself. And I mean that. So we do have a channel right here, and this strong support level right here at the 851 area is beautiful. I'd make that almost, if it holds that support, we're going to go back up and have a retracement. If it pulls on back, this area right in here. It could retrace back up and have what I would call still holding above the trend. Resistance to break is going to be right here at the $10 level, 10.05. If we can hold that 10.05, break that 10.05, we'll go up to that other figure I was talking about up there around $11. But we'd have to break this 10.30 right here. That'll show a little hard resistance right there at the 10.30 spot. We're going to go ahead and fix that. Okay, now let's pull up the daily 1 minute and see if I see anything on this daily 1 minute that I missed. And see, the smaller the time frames, the more places you can see of consolidation. Now I see this 969, and I really like this area right in here. For maybe, we know that we need to hold on the daily 1 minute. Now this is something I want to talk about. This is something I want to talk about. A lot of times on these breakout stocks that run up like this, I love using these moving averages for a specific reason. And a lot of times I'll have enough patience. I mean, I'll be scalping the trade on the way up because I'm experienced and I know what I'm looking for. But for beginners that quite don't know where the support lines and stuff are, it's good to use this 200 EMA as a support level on a breakout stock. And as you can see, if you'd had enough patience, and you probably would have took this ride, and you probably would have got stuck in this trade right here as it sold off, or you'd had enough decency to get out of it once it failed this support level right in here, right around 985, because of that previous high we had right here. But a lot of times on these breakout stocks, when they always have a pullback, and then they have a retracement bounce. It created a new high, which to me would still told me that I'm still bullish on it, but I would have maybe got out of the trade right out here, right around the $10 area, because we were talking in the room, if it gets over 10, new buyers are going to start coming in. Well, Friday, the new buyers didn't start coming in because it was a Friday. They'd rather wait until Monday or see how the next week's coming. But always call that 200 on a breakout stock. You can play it off the bounce for a scalp. And if you took that trade right down here off that 200 right around 972, I mean, not a big scalp, 30 cents, back up to this resistance level. But there's a lot more. Just kind of jot down that 200 EMA on a daily 1 minute, sets you up a chart that does have these huge breakouts, especially in the morning, when they break out first thing in the morning, and you can play them dips off that 200. But if it disrespects that 200, just have more patience and wait for like a double bottom, which we had pre-market right here. See what I'm talking about? We bounced right back up there, and you could have bounced up and took that trade. Then we had the triple bottom, and look at that enormous run from the triple bottom breakout. We had a descending pattern also, which you could have been easily followed by these top trend lines. Right there. That's called a descending triple bottom pattern. And a lot of times when it gets back up to this resistance level and it breaks that 200 EMA and it starts to ride that 200, bam, then you had a double top. Pretty much a double top from this triple top breakout from right up here. See, it failed that triple top. That'd have been an exit point for me if I was in the trade on the triple bottom. And it did break out that descending pattern. And then it didn't fall at 200. And then we had the triple top. And it started to fail. I would have exited that trade and waited for it to touch back to the 200, or have patience and wait for it to hit the 200 again and follow it on up. And had another, pretty good little scalp from 875 to 931. I probably would have got out of it a little bit lower, right around the 924 area. Pull it back, get back in it at $9 and run it all the way up to 10. But you don't know that. You would try to take it back up to the top, right in here, and maybe exit. But it all depends on the tape. You see the TTM trend right here? How it started bouncing back up, and then it started coming down, and then the red candles started coming in, and then the negative sentiment came in, and then we started rebounding again on the TTM squeeze. Then we had another breakout. We had the squeeze set up right here. These two red dots. Where'd you go? Ah. Oh, I was looking. Well, there they are. We had these two little dots right here, and she bounced on back, bouncing off that 9, respecting that 9 all the way up. So these moving averages if you learn how to use them, you can use them as supports, and you can use them as resistance levels. I showed you a triple bottom on this. I showed you a triple top on this. I showed you a descending triangle on this. I showed you respecting the 200 on this. I showed it rising above the 9 EMA, breaking out. Then we had the negative sentiment. The TTM squeeze went down on it. It pulled back. There's just many entries and exits on this trade Friday, workhorse, if you'd been a scalper trader. So let's go ahead and look at it one more time on the 20-day. Low support right down here at the red line at 849. Resistance to break. It's going to be this $10 level. And if we can break past 1030, the new buyers are going to come in. But I'm thinking we're going to pull back to this channel. If we pull back to this channel, you can play this channel. Maybe take it back to 10. But the resistance level is going to be right around 950 area. That's going to be workhorse. Sorry, I spent a little extra time on that, but I wanted to show you all them patterns. It was on that chart. Have a drink. Okay, we've got a half hour left. We got more tickers to go through. Work spot. Okay, let's look at the Dow. This is the Dow Jones. I'm just kind of looking at it. You see, I have a support level here, 2498789. Now, I called this crash pretty damn good when we pulled back. I said in the room that we'd probably pull back to 20,000. And if y'all remember, before Trump got into office, the Dow was at 20,000. I watched during the Obama crisis where the Dow went from 12,000 back to 6, and then bounced off that, I think 665, and then and eventually broke that 12,000, and I called the market to go to 20,000 way in advance. back during the crash when we broke the 12,000. I said we're going to hit 20, and we did, right on the number. I mean, I was just 14 bucks off of it. Now, I'm thinking if Trump is reelected, the Dow will see 40,000. We're during an election year right now, so the market with coronavirus, with all the rhetoric coming out of the White House, all the hate in America, all the riots and these protests, it's not good for the sentiment of the market. But sometimes the market just doesn't care. It's watching the tape and watching the money and watching the flow. Every day's a new day. But these are weird times that I've never seen in my lifetime. Trading, watching the market. So it's a learning experience for me. But you got to kind of think about what happened during the crash that we had back in 07 and 08, and I watched every day of that, and that was a trip. Watching 1,000 points, 500, I mean, just continuous for months. And we had a nice little rebound. This market was in very bullish territory before the crisis came. I mean, the Dow could have kept rising and rising and rising and rising, and it would have never corrected. The unemployment was in great shape. All of a sudden, we got plastered. 30 million people lost their jobs. The government shut us down. I'm a private business owner. I would get scared myself, not knowing what, we're a little different entity than working for somebody when you're in your own business. So I'm thinking that if we pull back, this solid support right here at 24,987.89 is very important, because we did retest that once. And it bounced up and it pulled back. We do have a descending pattern, so we can fall back into this other channel of support level. And the next support's going to be right around the 24602 area, maybe right in here. Let's not leave this candle out right here, right there. No, it's right here. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pull up the 20-day. Pull back that year. I'm going to turn this one into a red line. And we got another one right down here. I think, yeah, this one needs to be a red line. I'm saying this one needs to be a red line because we consolidated right in these two areas. We had that little wick candle right here. So that's like a triple top, or not a triple top, but a double top breakout into these new highs. So we did have a descending pattern. This support level has to hold. And let's pull up on the 20-day now. Okay. First support, 2-4, and stop this chart at any time and write these numbers down. They are kind of big. 24987.89 needs to hold. If we can hold that, we can bring it back to this 25,296.68 area. But there is a little bit of resistance right here at 25. I'm going to readjust this. See where we had this triple bottom? What that becomes is a resistance level when you break below that triple bottom. So that wasn't a good thing to see. I'd rather seen it hold this number at 2586.43 and bounce back up. Allowing this to get below this triple bottom right here could bring this Dow back down to 24602 with negative sentiment. But you're always going to find good tickers when the market's going down. You just got to trade your strategy a little bit different and have a little more patience and follow the few 5 or 6 tickers that have good trends that are running up. So first support, don't want to go no lower than 24,987.89, and I would like to see it hold up here at 25,296.68 next week. I want to see it stay in this channel. If it doesn't hold this channel, we've got these two other supports that we need to contend with. 24783.93 and 24602.16. That's the Dow. A lot of these stocks ran up real well. You know, Apple and the S&P. So we have had a nice little pullback. We have consolidated to a double bottom here, and we did break the triple bottom. So we're in a place right now where we just gotta kind of let the market dictate the trend. No lower than 24602.16 for a strong buy back up. That's going to be the Dow Jones. I know it's hard, and I know some of you out there are probably saying he's just talking shit, just talking smack. But if you watch me and you've been around me for a while, you know that a lot of my numbers are pretty accurate. I'm not always 100% right. I will admit that. And FSLY is another good one. I don't know if I talked about that one or not. That's on my watch list. Let's talk about GUSH. I've got 40 more minutes left. No, I don't. I got 20 more minutes left. So let's see what we can get here in the long run. GUSH has had problems. GUSH has problems. The Robinhood crowd loves exciting oil prices. Okay. It's an oil trade. It's a bullish trade. We are using a little bit more oil. Problem last week is that America produced too much oil. That caused a little market sentiment for it to pull back. You're always going to have oil wars no matter what. We are deficient. We are self-efficient on oil right now. We don't need anybody's oil but our own if it come down to it. So let me look at the yearly chart one more time here. Yeah, we're at a bottom. Let me look at magnifying. I can't see crap on that one. So let's go 6 month. Nothing. 3 month. Nothing. It's a hard one to say. I say we're consolidated down here at the bottom. Any bad news about oil that this thing's going to go down? He just keeps going chart to chart, doesn't he? It's hard to say. This is one I got to probably watch Monday. I don't want to see it go no lower than this 3083, but we did break this, and that's just a little bit bearish for me with a descending pattern, which tells me we could have some more legs down. I just can't chart it up right. So that's the support level we got. If we can't hold that support, we're going to go down. That's about the best I can do on GUSH. Work. Another good one. We got work on watch. Let's see what I got. I'll put it in here. Yeah. We got calls on work. Drink coffee. Give me 1 second here. Where'd you go? as many containers you can find and fill them up to about here. Find as many you can up there, not make them too big. Okay, I'm back. Thank you. Work. Nice little trend moving up. We got a nice little pennant flag right here. Yeah, not really. Kind of a consolidated area. Nice little breakout. Support level is going to be right down here. These candles are a little choppy. I'm almost tempted to rechart it. I think I will. We had a beautiful breakout here, and all of a sudden had a huge sell-off. Kind of concerned about that. And there, I'm trying to find some support channels where they're kind of lining up the candlesticks. Okay, I've got a trend line from right about there. So that $31 area is a pretty solid support level. 31. And if it breaks below that 31, your next support's going to be right down here, right around. These are going to be entry levels for calls. And the resistance we got to break is going to be right up here. I should have probably raised that up just a little bit, so I'm going to do that. And we're going to put it up to the 20-day. Sell off, pulled back to that trend line. So we could follow this trend line for a buy area. And for right now, I kind of give you a raw feeling where I think that'll be Monday. Whoop, wrong one. It's going to be right at 31 for solid support on Monday. That'll going to be your low support. I would not like to see it fail this 31.70 something for the buy back up. We got to break the triple top resistance up here in this channel of 34.18 to 34. I'm going to raise that up to 34.63. There's a 50-cent spread right there to break resistance levels. So solid support at 31 bucks. If that holds, that's going to be a buy to take it back up here maybe to 32.40, maybe up here to around 32.20. And if it gains momentum and follows the trend, you can take it up to 34, to this other $34 channel up here between 34.18 and 34.63. I'm bullish on work, but I'm always the one that likes to play the pullbacks. You have them every day. You just got to keep that in mind. If you jump in at resistance, you might get stuck. Someone probably thought they were smart. They were going to take this double top breakout, didn't wait for a candle to go past it, and got stuck in it and took a loss. So always remember, you got to wait for that confirmation on that double top breakout. And that's going to be work. So low support at 31 needs to hold. Resistance to break is going to be right in here, right around 33.20. And we'll get it up to this new channel of resistance. And that's going to be work. And we got 13 more minutes. Next one's going to be LLNW. LLNW. Bam, she's already charted out. Let's do something here. Let's see what the float on it is. 114 million. Limelight. 52-week highs on Friday. Almond James lifts Limelight Networks price target to 850. Whoa. Keeps rating to outperformed. Limelight stock target price raised 850. Price raised 850. Ooh. Limelight Networks up over 13% pace for the April. Oh. Limelight surge in streaming during COVID. Turn online video, news, entertainment. Okay. Got a support channel that needs to hold right in here. I got a support level right there too. So we got a low support that needs to hold. If it pulls back to this channel, you could get a retracement back up. But personally, I'd like to see it hold this 713 as a first support and break up and try to break resistance of 769. That low support channel, if this doesn't hold, we're going to pull it on back down here to this lower level of 624. So between that 658 and 691, if we pull back in that channel, you could get a retracement back up to 713, all the way up to this 746, which is going to be a hard resistance to break. And if it does break this, and we do have an ascending triangle right here that worked out on Friday. So let's pull this up to the daily 1 minute and see if it tells us a little something. See that ascending triangle? We had this consolidated triple top, triple bottom. You run up and hit the 200, pull back again to that support level. You got another chance to take it up to this resistance level that I had on this chart. Right over, well, I probably got this, just drew this up. So yeah, there's going to be a double top resistance. It didn't break, but it's still showing signs that it can break that resistance level of 746. And if we get past that, 746 with a long up here, right around the $8 level. And that's when I probably start wanting to take profit or play the pullback on it. And like I said, that pullback was right here at 691 for a low support channel, 658 to 691. So it's setting up to break out this resistance level at 769. And if that fails, it'll pull back to this channel of support level right in here. See what I'm saying? That's going to be LLNW. AAL is next. I got 10 more minutes. Thank you, George. Airline stocks took a hit last week. The last couple weeks, they've had a good little run. The increase in coronavirus has caused this to pull back. The increase in the corona, the only reason it caused this to pull back. They were thinking that maybe, you know, we were going to have a nice little, see how I had this little top right here. They're also, I think there's plans for a second stimulus for the airlines. So if we hear anything in the news this week about that stimulus plan for the airlines, I think we can retrace back up to this resistance level of $15. If we hear anything about it. And anything beyond that 15 is going to be, you know, a hard resistance up here at 18. One airline's runs, they all run. So right now we're negative on JetBlue. And we did have a 10-day sell-off, so a lot of, what do they call this? Pocket. We could be showing a pocket pivot. If this thing starts to curl up and break this resistance on this 10-day sell-off, we could start to see a pocket pivot, and that would be right here at this price level of 1336. We break that double top. It's very important. If we start to pull this thing up, I'm going to be watching AAL Monday. I'm thinking we're ready for a retracement bounce back up. If we can break this pocket and turn this into a pocket pivot right here at the 1336 level, we can bring it up to resistance level at $15, and that'd be a pretty good trade. So let's pay very close attention. Thank you, JC. Let's pay very close attention on the headlines next week. If they are going to throw out a second stimulus for the airplane stocks, if they do, we're going to have a retracement on all the airline stocks, and it's going to be great. And what's this last one I got in here? Oh, I don't know if I wrote that down right. Can't read my own writing. I'm going to look at APVO and FSLY, and I wrote another one down here, BOA or something. Let's see if I can find it on the BOA. That's what it is. Let's look at BOA. BOA. There ain't no ticker called BOA, so I'll just blow it off. Let me see if I wrote it down wrong. One more time here. BOA, there's no BOA. Okay, can't find it. Next one. Let's do FSLY. What a trade, man. I was trying to figure out why this thing ran up like this. I was falsely, this is Fastly and Company. I was falsely misunderstood. Beautiful run on this trade. So let's draw a trend line first. Let's extend this on out because I want to be using this Monday. We have kind of an ascending triangle right here. See what I'm talking about? Ascending triangle breakout. These tops up here. 1, 2, 3. And after that third bottom, bam. And had a wonderful Friday. We got a resistance up here. It's 87.07. Jim. Another ascending triangle right here in close on Friday. I had the higher lows and the peak up here on the horizontal line at 86.99. So a bunch of ascending triangles, just full of them. Here's another one right here. Ascending triangles in ascending triangle, holding that support level. So if it pulls back to this dollar amount right here, this is going to be a strong buy. First support is going to be at the top of that ascending triangle at 82.01 with a resistance to break, and I think we will. And we're going to raise it up here to this 80. Let's just round it off to $88. If we can get past $88 on FSLY, we'll bring it up a little bit more. We'll just follow it dollar by dollar. I want to do one more thing. I want to pull up a 3-year and see if I missed anything on the 3-year. Nope, 3-year high. So let's see if we can break that number. If not, we'll pull back to these other support levels. I want to look at the dang, see, when you don't pull up that minute chart, you miss something. Got a whole different outlook on it now. Pull up that minute daily chart. Just have a glance at it when you're drawing these trend lines, because you might miss something that you didn't see on a bigger time frame. So we got third support down here at the $82 level. Second support level, I'm actually named this strong buy here at 82. Third support at 83.59. The second one at 85.08. And then that first one right here at 85.81 with a resistance to break up here right around 87.87. And that's going to be FSLY. Man, what a trade on this. Another one I didn't pay close attention to. Another one I wish I would have paid attention to. But there were so many great, even on a bad week, there's always something to trade. Bullish. the market runs in sectors. One sector will run, another one will give up. There's always a sector running. We have a hard resistance up here on APVO. That's next. APVO. Let's see what it does, what kind of company it is. Any news? It's healthcare, therapeutics, 52-week high. Oh, what's this? Everyone's set to get royalty payments from Pfizer. Oh, that's pretty good. That's good news right there. I like that. Therapeutics received full-year quarterly royalty payment. I like that. I like royalties. Alligator Bioscience. Oh yeah, it reminds me of old alligator charts. I had a summit. Okay, well, we have to kind of be bullish on this trade. But we're going to try to find a support level. And I found one. Found one pretty smart right here. See this? We're holding above that 200. Still bullish. See that? 200 EMA. Still bullish. Support level at 783. You can pull back to that. That's what indicated on them two candles. Another little support level right down. Oh, this is nice level. 675. Oh, that's going to be a strong buy right there. I like that right in here. I like it a lot. Well, they say part in the middle, party in the back. And there's a place right here. Let's see, I've seen these little spots. I mean, I'm staring over here, but I'm also looking over here too. See, we had that triple bottom. We had to break out. Didn't want to break resistance. Then it failed. During the crash, everything sold off. This would have been a nice trade to know. And then we had a little resistance level right in here. And I'm going to put that on that one candle right there. I got to have this in here. Let's pull up the 20-day. We got a resistance level right here. That's really looking nice, guys. You could almost call this a pennant flag from the highs up here. It's a little irrational exuberance. We'll do it from the base of the candle. You can almost call that a pennant flag we had on Friday. And you had this other little spot in here. So I don't know about that. Kind of a rough pennant flag. You had these two engulfing candles. If I was in this trade, I would have sold it on these huge engulfing candles. I would have got out of that. You had the triple top on the hour chart, and it failed. And then you had the three black soldiers right here. 1, 2, 3. They're green right now, but they were black. Or three black crows. 3 black crows is what I'm saying. And once you had the 3 black crows and that next candle held above it, that's an indicator. I mean, this is a beautiful setup for a breakout on these candles, especially if those bases are within this space here, and then that next candle comes out, shows a hammer above that closing of that base. You can more or less predict that you're going to have, nice. You could get more out of the trade, but and then you had the lower highs, so that might have been a good exit spot after hours to get out of it. And it did pull back to this support, started bouncing back up. So it's kind of a hard one to look at. So we're just going to pull it up to the 20-day and analyze it from there. Closed at 820. Okay, support level is going to be right here at 765 to 783. That's going to be your low support. Your second support is going to be right here, right around 813. See where we consolidated here? Right in here, right in here. And then a resistance to break. If we hold into this trend, that'll be fine. That'll hold support and cause it to break the resistance level, and that'll be right around $9. If we can break 9, we can break it up into this new channel. But 9 is going to be very hard to break. We had a descending pattern right here. You see the lower highs. And then it broke down. And even broke support. So this is going to be a tricky one to trade. Play it on the dip. If you know how to scalp it up to resistance line. And if you can break it into the new channel, you'll be fine. And then trill. It doesn't work, but I'm going to recap. I'll spend an extra few minutes. I'm over time right now. So we'll do these next 3 tickers. I'll recap work. Oh, thank you for spot. Okay. Gap. Oh, Gap. Gap had some good news. What is it? What's that ticker's name? What is Gap? I want to do Gap. GPS. What is that ticker's name? Anybody tell me? Yeah, I found it. GPS. This one we really had a good day. Glad you pointed that one out. Thank you very much. GPS, yes. GPS had that Kanye West news. So he's got a big stake for a contract for the next 10 years. And let me see. Yeah, Gap is hoping that they're going to generate $1 billion in annual sales through their Yeezy Gap caca stuff that Kanye West has. So I have to see what this wardrobe's all about. So what we got to do, we did pull back to support level. We had these previous highs here. You see that right there at 1188. You see what happened after we had that initial breakout? It pulled right back to that support, started bouncing back up. We had a consolidated area right in here. You see that? That ascending triangle? I always like to point this out to people. You know, if you never have to chase a trade. Unless you really, unless it's really like this one here that took off. But when this consolidated here, I would have probably waited until the market opened and then jumped on in it. But this is an ascending triangle setup. Now, I like to really pay close attention to this because the pullback on it pulled back to this previous high we had down here on the 5-day. Almost precisely to the breakout that we had here on the ascending triangle. So that's an indicator that this is a strong support area if it does break out. And a lot of times when you do have that as horizontal line on that ascending triangle, it will pull back to that ascending triangle and bounce right off of it. But keep that in mind and always look back into history on a chart when you're finding support levels, because this would have been a double confirmation that we would have pulled back right here to this level right here. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you have an initial breakout, you have patterns like this that pull back to the previous highs or the horizontal line of the ascending triangle, and you have a beautiful breakout like this, always consider using maybe that 200 daily on the daily 1 minute. We're going to look at that one too for a pullback. Look at here. This time it didn't really work, but it did bounce off that 200 down here. And it did pull back and bounce off here into a descending pattern, but it just never gave up. I would have kept my eyes on this one right here. And then maybe would have jumped in the trade. So gaps, I think, is ready to gap up more. I want to check one thing out on it. I want to check float size is 200 million, so that ain't going to do me no good. Let's get the 20-day one more time. I'm going to draw some resistance lines in here. We got another ascending triangle breakout, maybe on GPS when we wake up in the morning. And look how it consolidated in these areas over here. So that's pretty solid. Then we've got another one right up in here. You see how this candle pulled back right here? Pretty solid. Then you got one more resistance level right in here. I'm looking at this channel and this channel right in here. So we're going to try to find a low support. That's going to be down in here and somewhere right around there. We'll pull up. Let's get rid of this. Now we're going to look at seriously what we got here. Got a strong support level right here at the 1188. I think that needs to hold, but then you got that little pattern right here. So I'm going to draw a support channel for my first support area right in here. Bam. That's going to be my first. If the ascending triangle doesn't break out that we had right here, but you got to understand, man, look at big engulfing candles. And then just kind of sold off the rest of the day. Found a support level down here at the 1188 area and bounced back up to 12. So I'm going to call this area right in here a very strong support. That's between that 1177 and 1188. The third support's going to be right down. Second one's going to be right down here at this level at 1158 with a strong buy right down here at the 1122. I like to see that hold. That'll be a dollar pullback and then a bounce back up. But this first support channel is very important. And if we can break the resistance of 1231 and start gapping up, we would definitely see 1288, maybe a little consolidation back to this support level, maybe right here, and bounce up and try to break this resistance level of 1345. And if it does that, man, you're in business. You can take it all the way up to this 1420 area. And this is, you got to look at the news. Every time you look at a stock, you got to determine if the news is going to be good, if the news is going to be a thing that can hold a stock and keep it consistent. But for right now, the news is, to me, is just an early forecast of what could come down to the future. There's no revenue, but it's just the momentum that they're going to turn this company around. GPS has not been a very good company. I mean, I wouldn't buy anything in their store. But maybe with the new merchandise coming in, this could be a catalyst. I do expect another pullback on it, but also we could have a break of resistance up here at this level right around here, around 1379. It's all about the momentum, and the Kardashians right now are, pretty hot item. Kanye West. So, yeah, we were down here at the very bottom, low on it. We've had a huge gap up, almost $4 and almost $4.50. We had a 50% retracement, which is very good. It's very positive. I always look at the Fibonacci's and I look at the retracement levels. And this 50% retracement went right up to that resistance level right there at 1177. So this channel is pretty solid. If we can hold in here, we can retrace it back up. That's the way I'm looking at this trade. I don't really want to see it fall down in here. If it falls down in here, you need to use a little bit of patience and let the trade come to you. GPS. It's right. George is right. really appreciate people coming out here. I'm going to go over space again because I had a request. And if I'll do one more after that, if anybody wants to look at one more. If it's one that I've already talked about, I'll do it again. So the next person that puts up a ticker, I'll do that one, the next one. And we're going to look at space again. See if I called it the same way I did before. Space, strong buy down here at the triple bottom, down here at 1432. If you see that, I think we'll pull back to the support level of 14, 15 bucks. That's going to be your solid support level that needs to hold. And I'm going to go ahead and put that dollar amount in here. There we go. 15 bucks. I think it can. This is a descending pattern, but it is coming up from an uptick. We did have another descending pattern right here, and you see what happened. Coming up from an uptick, it broke out. So I want you I want to repeat that again. We had a descending, we had a low down here, triple bottom low. Triple bottoms. And if anybody knows me, I'm always looking at patterns to determine what kind of trade I want to get in. And I always look at the volume, and I'm always looking at the tape, and I'm always trying to watch the money flow. I watch the tape, so that to me that's my money flow indicator. But a lot of people use the dark pool and other indicators when the big institutions start to buy a stock. And I'm learning more about that. But we had a triple bottom. We had a descending pattern with a triple bottom, and it broke out. We had another descending pattern above the lows on the triple bottom, which gave it a little bit of bullish sentiment. Same thing, had another descending pattern, and then bam. They're all descending patterns, and this last one was a real big bam. So I'm thinking, if we squeeze on down to this support level of 15 bucks and hold it, we can break resistance of $16. If we can break that resistance of 16, we'll get back up here to the triple top of 1774 with a hard resistance to break at 1695, and that's space. You want 1,800? You want 1,800 shares? Why not 2,000? Wouldn't that have been pretty? Space is another Tesla, but not as advanced as Tesla is. And I want to talk about Tesla. I'm calling this trade perfect. I almost want to clean this chart up, but I didn't call this here perfect. Last week I made an announcement that just maybe we were going to break this ascending triangle and break this 1018. But here's another time where, I was wrong. They had the recall. They had that 60,000 car recall, and the stock went to hell. Or it didn't go to hell, because I had a $900 support on it. And once it hit this area right in here at 950, it bounced back up. So I really need to look at this area, this 950 area, as a pretty solid support level. We had a double top here, and then we had the triple top breakout. So to me, this is going to be like my new pivot point. It's going to be a new pivot point in the channel. And we're going to build a channel. We're looking at a channel. So you have the pivot point between the 900 to the $1,000 level, with a resistance to break up here right around 1025 of the all-time highs. I'm very, very pleased that this stock had that initial pullback to that support level that I called on this consolidated area of support just under $900. It did pull back right to that. So when you're looking at charts, you got to look at the previous consolidated areas, and we've had quite a few of them right in this week. and that created a very solid support once we broke that resistance. And we tried to do it again, but just couldn't get up there. And then we created that ascending triangle, and I falsely thought we would go ahead and get back up and break that resistance at 1025, and I was totally wrong. It went ahead and it dipped on down to my lower support. So I'm calling this a pivot point on a 20-day chart of 950. Anything below it's going to be a buy, and anything above it is going to be resistance levels. And if we can pull back and hold that support level, which is the pivot point at 950.40, we can bounce back up and try to get back up here to this 990 level. And that would be probably, unless the momentum's there, that would be a nice little exit point. If not, anything below this, especially in this area right down here at the 920 area, it's going to be a strong buy. I would like to see a higher low if it does break this support level of 950.40. So definitely keep a good eye on old Tesla. This is a money maker if you can get in and scalp. It's a scalper's trade at these levels. Yes, this will be saved on the channel, so you can rewatch it over and over again. Tell your friends about it. I think this getting ready to shut down. Good news for Tesla. Oh, NKLA, thank you. That's the one I wanted to talk about. Now I've got a watch list of 5 tickers that I'm watching in the electric car industry. But this NKLA is one that I'm really excited about. I got a low support down here at 56.80 for a retracement back up. We did have a little pattern with higher lows. I thought we were going to have that little breakout, but we found some resistance levels last week. And that resistance level is at 75.20. Let me have a sip of coffee. Sip of cold coffee. I'm going to find a support level right here. Does anybody know what this company does? Look it up. They're going to be like the second Tesla, I think, and Nile will be in 3rd place. So we got a strong buy at 56.80. It held support down here at this other support at the 50% retracement on the 20-day 1-hour chart, which is right at 62.98, 63. We got a resistance support level here at 67.95. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find another support between this one and my support level right here. And I'm going to set it right in here, right about 60.47. So we had a huge, beautiful breakout on it. It's had its pullback, more than 50% retracement on that breakout. Started bouncing back up, found a little resistance right here, created another ascending triangle, and it's kind of pulled back. So we're at a point now where it's going to consolidate in a channel. And I'm kind of thinking that channel is going to be between this 56.80, which is a real low support, to this area right here at 75.20. If we can break the 75.20, we're going to bring it up to new levels, and that's 78.44. People think this thing can go to 100. I remember watching Tesla when it was at 50. These take times. These take time once they have initial breakout to consolidate. So you got to let them consolidate, and we've had a good 10 days of consolidation. I think maybe next week we're going to see if we can keep in this channel. That is going to be a very good thing for this string to break out of resistance of 75.20. But we got to keep this low support. And this is on NKLA. This is one it's a have to keep on watch every day. You can play the dips on them. Just watch the trends. That went up 3,000 shares. That's right. So we'll go right here to 80. So if we got to break 75.27, and we'll get up to these new channels. But we have a lot of room to climb, and we have a lot of room to fall. Let's just hope it holds this support level at 56.80 and break the resistance right here, right around 75 bucks. That's going to be it for today. Thoughts on Google? Oh, try to keep me here all night. Oh, that's not Google. Oh gosh, what happened here? Vista Crossroad Cross. Escape race. Oh gosh. You know what really bothers me is how these companies have got so involved in politics. Just annoys the crap out of me. I'm bullish on this company, and this sell-off is an opportunity to make some money. So let's look at the I just don't like it when businesses get politically involved. I don't think it kind of reminds me of church and state. So that's what happened to Facebook last week. It's what happened to Twitter last week. They all sank because they got involved in politics. Okay, yeah, it definitely, that was a nasty sell-off. So I'm kind of looking, this 1331 area. You see what I'm talking about? You see this right here? Where we had that high, and it pulled back, and then it broke that resistance, and it pulled back and hit that support level again, and had that huge breakout. So we got to kind of follow this down the line, see where it pulled back and hit that right there. So I think if this stock can pull back to this number right here at 1331.98, you might be able to get her back up here to right around the 1387 area. With that would be like the little resistance that needs to break, and it can go up a little higher. Resistance could be right up around in here, right around the $1,400 area. So let's kind of look at this strategically, thinking that this low support area of the 1333 is going to be a strong buy if we get a double bottom there. Look at the 20-day. Yeah, 1333. Your next support's going to be right here at 1347. And then if we can hold this 1363, I think we can easily retrace back to 67 and break the resistance level, which is going to be hard right here at the $1,400 area. You see, you got that? You see what I'm saying? Let the market dictate how you trade. But I think we found us a pretty good little spot for a retrace dead cat bounce. This is too ugly. This is too big of a sell-off. Definitely we're going to get it back up to this level of 1387. Mark my words. Now, I don't know if the video is going to show all of it. I don't know how YouTube does it. I think it's over like 2 hours or something. They cut it off or something like that. So whatever's on here, I think it might be recorded. If it is, I'll try to get more on here. I hope everybody enjoyed the session today. Please be safe. America's going through a period right now where I walked with Martin Luther King when I was 8 years old. And to see this kind of crap going on today, it just sucks. You know, it really kind of depresses me in a way. I think we could just get along and this country could run just like, we're America. We've made a lot of wealth and we've contributed a lot of wealth to a lot of countries. So let's just try to get down the right path here. I want to show one more thing. In these times, let me see if I got this map. I talk about this a lot. How our emotions can get involved in trades. You know, we had a lot of optimism back last year, and the market just kept running up. We're thrilled to death. We're excited. And then Corona kicks in, and we start getting anxiety. The market starts to sell off. We start getting desperate. We feel that fear, that denial. No, I want to buy more. I want to cost average down, but you got to know where the trend is and what's going on. You start to panic, and then all of a sudden, the cycle starts to reverse. You get a little bit of hope. The relief starts to kick in, and you're back to optimism. Then you run that whole ride over again, and it's just up and down roller coaster. And you got to manage those emotions when you're in a trade, and don't try to rush yourself. Make sure you have like a 5-step plan. I've done a video on my 5 steps on how I like to trade, and I follow those 5 steps. And I get confirmations of every trade I'm in. I don't jump in a trade if I just get one. I got to have 4 confirmations before I get into a trade. So always try to control that fear, and I wish everybody a good day. Always remember, I love stocks. You can follow us on our webpage. If you're not in the chat room, we do have a chat service. And it's $20 for the first week, $50 a month. And, we got a coaching package here for $600, I just now noticed. 3 sessions on 1 private coaching staff for Miss Vegas if you want to talk to her. But you can sign up. We have some good traders in the room. Also on our homepage, we have a Twitter link. Hit that follow button. We're posting alerts in here at all times. Also on that little web page, we have Stock Twits, Pinterest, YouTube. And hit that like, subscribe button. And I wish everybody a great day. And thank you all for showing up. Oh, Google caught up on that Facebookies. Yep, that's right. Exactly. So, thank you very much. Have a great day. Be safe. And I'll see you later.